Hello and welcome to TradeFlow Television,
bringing you valuable analysis and actionable intelligence
through the global commodity markets.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
China's soymeal futures slumped on Thursday on growing concerns that a resurgence in African swine fever outbreaks in the country's huge hog herd will hit demand for the key animal feed ingredient in coming months. China's most actively traded soymeal futures on the Dalian Commodity Exchange for delivery in May fell 4.3% to 3,176 yuan per ton in morning trade, closing down 3.56%, the biggest daily decline in more than 2 years. The plunge comes amid growing market consensus that African swine fever, in addition to other hog diseases, has significantly hit the country's breeding herd in the last 3 months and could get worse.
Shipping and trade groups are calling on the European Union to advance the development of ammonia and green hydrogen as the best marine fuel options to enable the industry to accelerate decarbonization. With about 90% of world trade transported by sea, global shipping accounts for nearly 3% of the world's CO2 emissions. To reach goals for shipping set by the United Nations, industry leaders say the first net-zero ships must enter the global fleet by 2030, with vessels powered by green hydrogen and its derivative compound ammonia among the options.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
OPEC said on Thursday a recovery in oil demand will be focused on the second half of the year as the impact of the pandemic lingers is a headwind for the group and its allies in supporting the market. In a monthly report, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries said demand will rise by 5.89 million barrels per day in 2021, or 6.5%, up slightly from last month. But the group cut its forecasts for the first half. Total oil demand is foreseen to reach 96.3 million barrels of oil per day, with most consumption appearing in the second half, OPEC said in the report.
India's fuel consumption fell for the second month in a row in February to its lowest since September last year as record-high retail prices continued to stonewall a demand recovery for the world's third biggest oil importer and consumer. Consumption of fuel, a proxy for oil demand, fell 4.9% to 17.2 million tons year-on-year in February, data from the Petroleum Planning and Analysis Cell of the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas showed on Thursday. On a monthly basis, demand slipped by 4.6%. In January, India had registered its first month-on-month decline in 5 months. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Gold eased off a one-week high on Thursday as the dollar paired losses and U.S. Treasury yields rose after better-than-expected jobless claims data out of the United States. Spot gold was down 0.2% at $1,723.40 per ounce by 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time, after hitting its highest since March 3 at $1,739.63 earlier. U.S. gold futures were down 0.1% at $1,720.40. 10-year Treasury yields have now bounced again, which has stabilized the dollar and is taking some air out of gold, said Tai Wang, a trader at investment bank BMO in New York.
Copper prices rose on Thursday towards 10-year highs hit last month as a bumper U.S. stimulus bill, benign U.S. inflation data and better-than-expected Chinese lending numbers spread a bullish mood through markets. With Chinese equities up around 2.5%, the U.S. Dow Jones Index at record levels and European stocks reaching a one-year high, benchmark copper on the London Metal Exchange was up 2.1% at $9,048 a ton in official trading. Copper, used in power and construction, reached $9,617 a ton in February as analysts warned that demand from China, green energy and electrification will outstrip supply.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Ukraine exported $4.4 billion worth of vegetable oils in the first half of the 2020-21 season, accounting for 40% of all Ukrainian agricultural exports, National Vegetable Oil Producers Union the Ukrolyarprom said. Sunflower oil accounted for 77.73% of the exports, it said. Oils and fat products worth $3.3 billion were exported in the same period a year earlier. the average soon oil export price rose to $1,088 from $731 a year earlier, the union said. In 2019-20, Ukraine, the world's largest sunflower oil exporter, produced 7 million tons of soon oil and exported 6.632 million tons. That is all for today's news on the commodity market. Stay tuned to TradeFlow TV as we continue to provide you with more updates. You can also follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow TV1, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop.